All right, what's going on, everyone? All the alerts are turned on. Maybe that's foreshadowing. What's going on, everybody? Let's get right to it here. Nat type's open. There's plenty of trophy space open. Fingers crossed we can find something out in the open. Ooh, hang on, stand by. We've got a new community challenge. I was not. Did I miss a memo? Let's try to find a multiplayer session and then we'll figure out what's going on with the mule deer here. That could be a sign just to grind mule deer. I don't know. I was really actually conflicted tonight, folks. This is my favorite type of way to play this game. I'm far more interested to play like this style run again, like we are out in a random map, than I am to sit there and Great One grind. But oh, are we on? Yeah, we're on Scotland. At the same time, I don't know. I took a long enough break from it where it's almost like, all right, maybe this is doable again. I'm gonna check while I'm down here, look for woodcock. This looks like a pretty... Well, maybe not. This area where I'm at's been pretty well explored. Looks like there's some need zones in this direction. Hopefully I can bump into something. There's one of them. Just really surprised I've not kicked anything up. That guy's suspiciously not moving. People are shooting though. Maybe he's hunting. Okay, he's moving. We're good. I was getting worried. I was like, man, maybe we're in one of those weird ghost maps, but... I'm very surprised I've yet to run into even tracks. And there we go. I mean, I didn't want to leave here empty-handed, you know? Of course, I finally run into a woodcock and I'm not prepared at all. This area's getting crowded. I'm going to go ahead and dip out of it. Just look up, there's a dude sitting at the river I'm looking at, so I'm out. All right. Wherever it goes, whatever path it takes, once this thing gets it going, that's where the diamonds are, folks. Work 60% of the time, every time. It's just got to get going. All right. It's still going, folks. I was like, "Where's the ball?" It's all right. Let's follow it. No way, it's still rolling, right? Oh, there it goes. There goes my hero. Look at that thing, man. It's actually kind of wild. Oh, I got stuck in a log. There's some tracks. I mean, all right. Let's see. It's 11:02. We should be running into fallow deer. Oh, I just realized this guy knows ball. He's got the diamond challenge up. I just realized. This changes things. I was kind of feeling like dipping out of here, but I'm up for it. Let's find us a diamond on Scotland if we can, order one we can stay on the map. Challenge accepted. want to come across like a big, big, like, I don't know, either fallow or red. I'd like to have both in the lodge. But I want something with big antlers. It's time for those guys. I'm going to check the app real quick. He seems big, but I could be wrong. It's time for those guys. I'm going to check the app. He's not. Moving on. I'll follow this track. Could be a 7. Could be 9. Let's see if this guy turns at all, because if not, that tells me he's actually... Alright. Well, that's not him. Looking an awful lot like he's nowhere near me right now. There's some disturbed vegetation. I'll go check that out. Just make sure he's not a rare and we need to expedite what we're doing. He's not. I might as well keep going. He could be, I mean, wherever he's at, he's somewhere, you know? Once we get top this hill, maybe he's out there resting somewhere. Never saw it. Shoot fire. I don't think it's our guy though, because this is still the same straightforward track. Never mind. It is. Oh, I've just been 100% wrong the entire night. So far. Unfortunately, he's in the thick part of Scotland right now to where it's hard to see him. We'll just do a little of this, a little of that. Batman smoke bomb, now we're in front of him kind of thing. Oh, he made it past us before realized. Good news is we're out in the open. Once I crest this hill, we might get a shot at him. Howdy, howdy. No. I should just stop trying to call what's gonna happen because I didn't realize we're climbing a mountain. This is by no means some little hill. What in the world? Watch him be a level 7, man. That's gonna be it. That's what's gonna be the cherry on top of this little adventure, folks. Man, I've been following the wrong darn track. It's a feral. What? Alright. Remain calm. It's max weight red deer. Like I said, it is probably level 7. If we don't find it. There it is. Okay. I wasn't panicking at all. I was just, thinking out loud. The red deer is the new soccer ball at this point. Oh, O'Reilly. Americans got that joke. I'm smoking these dudes. I don't care about that red deer. There's rabbits up here too, huh? I really wish I had a dog on me now. Squirrel nailed it, folks. 100. I don't see no sneaking rabbits. No stinking red deer. I don't know what's going on here, folks. Speaking of red deer, maybe this is our guy. They get sneaky with it though. I've learned my lesson at this point. I'm tired of chasing him down. He's right on the other side of this hill. Dude, it's another mountain we're climbing. Do I hate Scotland all of a sudden? Did my love turn to hate for this map? I did low-key, I did the one thing you don't want to do as a content creator. Like, as soon as this map came out, I burned myself out on it because I played it so much. I loved it. It's an excellent map. It's just... we're getting smoked. I need to go back and pick up those red grouse that I shot, so that just in case one of them's a dime. The ones that I missed just might be back over here anyway. I need birdshot. Those dudes were quiet. Man, I'm really not seeing nothing, man. We just inherited the map. Which, in that case... Apologies for the double audio there. I mean, the buckshot did kill it. Just took a while. See what kind of sick deer hanging out over here. I don't want to commit to this map too much longer. I might dip out of it. All the vibes are off. It's telling me dip out of it. Having control of it is nice though, because I can just shoot everything I want and not feel bad about it, but still kind of dead. And for context, like I don't expect to see a diamond rare ever around every tree, but like there's just once you've sniffed enough of them out, like I have, like you just know like when it's like this map in it. There's probably a diamond rare somewhere on it, but I don't have the time to find it, if that makes sense. Speaking of sick of deer, there's a fox over there too. See, those guys haven't arrived to their zones yet. I'm gonna check this lake on the opposite side. Now that I've seen the deer that are coming to that one, and I'm probably gonna dip. See what else we can find. Again, like I said, I could spend probably 5-6 hours on this map and find something, but there's certain maps that I'm trying to find that it's just I don't know. It's not new. It's been pretty explored. That's got what, or that's one thing this map's got against it. It means either somebody's already found all the initial spawns, or somebody's spooked them away or done some. Respawns are weird, and they, you know what I mean. Just not as easy to find. They're not typical hotspots, if that makes sense. You know, I'd honestly really like to play a Revenantuli Coast. I might specifically search for one. Nothing yet has dethroned it as far as it being my favorite map in the game. And there's not a single trophy or potential trophy on Rev that I wouldn't need in the Lodge, of course. And there's still diamonds I don't have from Rev. That's been a problem for years now. I almost want to try to carry another shotgun with me just for buckshot purposes, because it does work against like Fox and stuff like what we're doing. Yeah, you got to track him forever, but it's one of those things where if we made a vital hit, we got him. You know, whereas if I was trying to shoot him with the 257, you know, I might have missed. There is a sweet spot. There's a fine line between taking him down and tracking him forever, and then like barely touching him, wounding him, and then he's not gonna die. But there is no hunting pressure. I'm out. We're going somewhere new. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna roll the dice and see what we could potentially get into next randomly. And if that doesn't work out, I'm gonna specifically search for Revenantuli Coast. Nighttime Yukon? Leighton. Yeah. This technically doesn't count as it doesn't work out. I just, you know, I could do it. I'm not feeling nighttime right now at the moment. I think I might have just gotten the same game. We'll see. Nope, definitely not. Med. Is that the server host? No. I'm going to get to the big lake here before the other guy does. Fun fact, with the exception of this lake and these two lakes, my bed is essentially unexplored. I could go to my own personal one, but I don't know. Here we are. It's a big lake. Joke's on him. I'm going over here. Alright, this will be our up close gun for intermediate game. I want to play around with some buckshot. For whatever reason, buckshot's terrible, but it's also at the same time when it does work, it's incredible. So, I kind of just want to play with it and see what happens when the opportunity arrives. I don't know. Yeah, let's check out Medved. I see no need zones. It's looking like a fresh Medved, which kind of is insane. So there could very well be something decent on here. That actually explains a lot. I actually want to get rid of the backpack. We don't want to ditch everything, man. I wish you could do in the over-unders. I wish you could load buckshot and birdshot. That'd be neat, but we're on Medved. I can use the 300 on here for moose. But I've got the 30-06. Let's ditch that. Man, did I pass it? I had no. I've got the Odin. Where in the world is my handgun slash shotguns? There it is. Jeez, the loot. It's like, where is this thing? The UI still, in console still, I wish we could at least type it in. That would legit be faster when situations like that happen. Medved might be one of the prettiest maps in Call of the Wild. New England's a banger. They're all pretty in their own way, but this one's just like, you just stand there and look at it, it's like, wow. I just realized I've got my mule deer hunting filter on, so it probably looks really weird for you guys. That's better. That dog ain't going on. No pun intended. I gotta change that active track color if we're gonna hang out on this map, because I can't tell the difference between the active and inactive there. Well, I don't. That's what in my head. That's what I call it. So on my mule deer grind, because I'm hunting mule deer from like 1700 to 1800 ASCII Ridge. It's like in between those like mountainous valleys. So it's actually pretty. Like for me, it's not very dark, but like whenever it's like compressed and all that stuff down, and then like shown on YouTube, it seems like it's super dark, and it's not. But anyway, I made a filter to where it actually looks like it's like this, like it should, and well, it doesn't work with other maps. Nothing out here. Surprisingly, those wolves didn't want to eat me. Somebody just got killed by a mountain reindeer. That's cool. It shows up the original tag. Yes, it doesn't show up as Grim. Grim! That's why I was like confused. I was like, this is familiar, but why? Duh, it's because it's Grim. Shout out to the Mule Deer Master himself. It's on my side. Because it was one of those like weird moments of like, I know who this is, but like at the same time, I was like, oh, I know who that is. You know what I mean? But I couldn't remember. Because your emblem's still the Grim one, and that's what threw me off. And I actually thought it was Rick's for half a second. I'm not digging the red inactive tracks either, but the white's a little counterproductive on this map. Actually, I use my phone now for chat because my Okay, I'm gonna be real talk, chat. After the move, I never hung up my got my second monitor squared away and hung up yet, so I'm just relying on the old cell phone for chat, which is honestly, well, for right now, current situation actually much better than none, but we'll get that squared away sooner or later someday. I looked down, I was about to die. I'm like, well, this thing isn't good. Could just be a time thing too. One of these days it'll happen and then it'll just be back to normal. Who knows? YouTube be weird. Google be weird. How's Arma been treating you, dude? Oh, I get it. There was actually, I don't know, I took a break for about a year from streaming and all that stuff. And I was pretty all in on like Hell Let Loose. And I dabbled in Arma and Squad and stuff. And long story short, we're back here. But the game I've been playing right now, the reason I say that is I've been actually playing a strategy game called Arms, Gates of Hell. It's like a World War II, like, I don't know, it's insane. And it's one of those games that I don't know. I said all that just to basically say I get it, because I'm like, oh, this is a weird, there's like, in one way, Call of the Wild's my game, but also I was like, oh wait, this is, when I think of my PC game now, I'm like, oh, this is what I'm playing. Now, I'm going to be real honest with you folks. Typically, because it's going to make it sound like I don't enjoy this, but I do enjoy it. But at the same time, like, for me to be able to, I don't know, I guess compartmentalize and just do it, I put this in like the quote-unquote work category. You know, it helps me stay, you know, focused and structured and all that fun stuff, because otherwise, you know, I mean, usually I can't be just like kick back, you know, just anyway. I love this game. But it's one of those things where it's like, if I don't play something different, it's not that I wouldn't get burnt out. It's just I wouldn't care anymore, if that makes sense. Gotta have that balance. Honestly, lately, I say that, I've actually been playing a lot of Hunter Classic off stream, folks. That game is so much fun. I've been killing the crap out of turkey. I've actually got a decent amount of money built up in it now. It's like, oh wait, I can actually do stuff. Yeah, man, you gotta get that figured out. I mean, no pressure. Like that. It's my way of saying that sucks. Because it's pretty solid where it's at right now. Rex and I got a few dinners the other night. I did a couple weeks ago. Well, here's the thing. So, Classic's one of those games. It's sort of like Wave the Hunter in the sense. Well, it's entirely different than Wave the Hunter, but it's more of a hunting simulator. It's not a hunting game, if that makes sense. And that's not a dig at Call of the Wild, because clearly here we are. I mean, Call of the Wild's where it's at. But at the same time, like when you're looking for like the experience, yeah, man, Hunter Classic's it. But there's a lot of downtime in Hunter Classic. You know, if I really wanted to, I could just be blasting all kinds of stuff, you know. But also, we're mobile. We can run around. We're free to move. We can cover a lot of ground quickly. Classic's not like that. It's really hyper realistic as far as travel goes. So like your movement speed's really realistic. The maps are huge. They're just as big as Call of the Wilds, and you're moving like you would in real life. The animals spook like they would in real life, and the crazy part, slash frustrating part at times, with that game is whenever you're spook stuff, everything that runs away from you, whatever it runs into as it's running away from you, it will spook that animal as well. So you might ruin your entire hunt if you spook an animal, potentially. So it's one of those, like, as a run and gunner in Call of the Wild, to try to play it like I would in this game, it's impossible. But as a real life hunter, I can really appreciate the game, and that's what makes it fun. And it's also like really authentic because it uses real life gear, unlike this game. Now it's like one or two brands, but still. And their events are just absolutely incredible. This is going to sound harsh, but Call of the Wilds are pathetic in comparison. Anyway, that's a really long way of saying I honestly think it'd just be too boring to stream consistently. Then again, it is a ton of fun, folks. Once you get, like, it's one of those games, like, I don't know, I try to compare it to the grindiness is sort of like at a game like War Thunder or like World of Tanks, you know, where it's like, it is a free-to-play game. But with that comes, you know, pay-to-win mechanics, so. But once you kind of get the groove of things and find those sweet spots, man, you can start bankrolling. That's what I've been doing. Because here's the thing, you might play for 2 hours, and it's a successful hunt if you shoot 5 things. You know, it's one of those games. which is similar to like Way of the Hunter in that sense. I could make a map very purple in the Power Hour if I wanted to in this, which is what makes it fun, and which is why, you know, I don't know, I'm low key obsessed with Call of the Wild. But folks, I gotta use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. All right, my apologies. I'm back, folks. Anywho, what do we got going on here? I don't know. What's killing me is so Medved's one of those maps. If you don't have it tended and like scouted up, it's brutal to traverse, and I don't. After the Great Reset, as you can see, we can't get cover too much ground very quickly, and so it's like I've been kind of avoidant of Medved for a long time. One of these days we need like dedicated day and just hammer it out. Might do like all the missions on Medved or something. That said, I'm feeling Rev in Tuliko so much, so I'm kind of thinking Rev, but man, this map is like, at the same time, I can tell this is a fresh, juicy map, and there could be something crazy on here. On Rev, though, I could totally recreate that scene from the Terminator, where, like, the Terminator was, like, you know, mowing down all the humans. That'd be like me, but with everything on Rev to the Coast. This map, well, as you can see, it's a little bit harder to do that than on Rev. That is a banger, though. Species are incredible. This is one of those maps, like I said, if once you get it tinted up and explored, and like, it's good. I just haven't put the time into it. And honestly, because I know it's like how long it's going to take, I'm like, nah, I ain't got time for that. And then I'll just go somewhere else. Oh, that's a tiny ball of pork. Level 1. That guy's super tiny, and he doesn't seem to care at all that we're standing here. It's totally the snowsuit. That's another thing. You know, sidebar. Another thing cool about Hunter Classic. Camouflage works. And there's all kinds of it. fast travel right to this outpost, and then I'm gonna check this big lake, and then I'm probably gonna dip and try to find a rev. I don't know why I'm craving it. I just am. Bring Lucky with just in case. Hopefully he doesn't break. It's in multiplayer, so I highly suspect him to. We'll see though. It's 12:08. Moose should be making their way to their zones. We're 800 meters out. By the time we get there, hopefully some moose will be drinking. Fingers crossed it's a 10 fabled or a 5 medium albino. If I ever find like a great one out in the wild on a multiplayer sesh, I'm retiring. That'd be insane. Actually, that's not true. I'd probably return back to the how I used to play this game, which is probably kind of like how I would play Hunter Classic, and just totally do that Star Wars meme. It's totally like, a man of your talents doing this. It's like, yep, this is a peaceful life. As you're getting excited, there's a doe walking towards you. I will say this game is still a lot of fun when you play it like it's supposed to be played. Because admittedly, I obviously, we're breaking some rules here. Not cheating, obviously, but I mean, we're sprinting around the woods. We sound like a freight train, but I'm using that to my, like, that's actually intentional. Like, I'm not blindly just running through like la-di-da, don't realize I'm spooking everything. Like, there's a big open lake in front of us, and I've got 800 yards of animals to push toward it. And then again, if something presents itself along the way, we'll shoot it. Alright, here we go. We're here. It's 12:21. There should be some moose in their zones. Unless I'm thinking wrong. Yeah. No. I mean, it's super early in their time. We're probably coming off that mountain. There's one 420 meters out. Why is he giving... Oh, because I was back there, that's why. That's a really long way for them to be calling out like that, but the game's weird, and because I was at that outpost. The new game feeders. I missed that question, by the way, Grim. My bad. New game feeders. You know, I dig it, I guess. That's one of those things that I need to get this stinking mule deer out of my way so I can kind of... I want to play with that stuff. Because that, in my opinion, like... I don't know, Guys, it's okay for them to, you know, keep the lights on. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I think. It's okay for them to produce DLC, and I don't see it as a money grab, because I don't look at it that way at all. That said, the way I look at it is... you could really change the dynamic of a map if you're actually strategic enough with those, if they work the way they want, you know what I mean? Like... that could change Great One grinding in a weird way. Like, there's going to be some nerd out there that figures out a way that utilize those feeders to, like, you know what I mean? I will say for rabbits, I mean, it would be silly just to be like, is it the DLC worth it just for rabbits? And for me personally, and my like enjoyment of the game, yes, that's what they're great for. That said, if I can hunt like tigers and bears, which we've already, oh, there we go. Really wing that guy. I was hoping I could get a long shot in there, but we hit something much meatier, and I guarantee that 30-06. Unless we did. It could take him a hot second to dive. Moose are insane. But I still don't see any hunting pressure, so I ain't worried about it. One of my favorite things about old Ricks, shout out Ricks, he legit has, like, he's got so many great ones, and like, he's not in, you know what I mean? He's not in the tangle, he's not in there, man. It's weird. It's not weird. I respect it. Because everybody's out here, you know, hustling these great ones, and Rick's is just He's not showing it off because he's too busy. He's just too busy banging out those great ones, man. It's insane. His fallow ground should be really legit studied. Honestly, what I need to do is, like, hyper pick his brain to the hyper level and record it. That way mankind can, like, gain the knowledge, you know, kind of thing. That's a lighting effect, right? Or is that a Mela? She looks sort of melanistic. Her back's a little dark. She's facing away from the sun. I don't want to get too excited, but I'm also kind of excited. Because, you know, when you compare contrast with, she could be a dark brown. That we had this issue at one point on a different map. I don't want to get excited, but we're going to pump her with 30-06, see what happens. Open for heart shot. I think it was a little too far back for that. I think we got lower double, or at least single lung. Hopefully at that range, 30-06 had enough to punch through. I'm pretty sure she's just a dark brown after looking at her as she was running away. Her back is kind of, I don't know. The lighting's sometimes weird. It's a teeny tiny moose. You're an embarrassment, sir. Go drink where we can't see you. It actually makes me really proud of him whenever people in the Discord accuse him of cheating. Because, like, this is... And you know what? I'd say this if Rix was here. So I'll say it to y'all folks. I think, you know, for him, the way my perspective is, the way the rocks look like behind her, she looked like an absolute giant moose. But that's why for us, it's like, whoa. We're off track here. I need to find some disturbed vegetation, see if I even need to worry about tracking this thing down. Anyway, Rix is like... That fallow grind, man, is like his version of golf, if that makes sense. And so it's like, he's technical about it. And he's humble. But, like, man, like, he has put some work into that grind that I envy. Like, I got hopeful when Rick shot his mule deer at like 200 kills or something like that. And here I am over 4,000. But I like judge my great one, you know, potential off of his, just in comparison. And I've been pretty lucky as far as great ones go, outside of, you know, the ones that I inadvertently screwed up, or, well, this mule deer one, man, I don't know what's going on with it, but I don't know. I honestly thought within 1,000 kills I'd bang that dude out, but here we are. I think Rick's has actually shot too, if I remember correctly. And hit like 2,000 kills. He's like, whatever. But I don't get frustrated by it. It's just insane. It's awesome. Everybody's talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, but I know Yoda, if that makes sense. But then again, I guess, you know, if I just did nothing but Great One grind, I could, you know, could put some work in. But I just, you know, to be honest, folks, I'm OG in the sense that I don't say that to brag. I say it in a way that, like, to understand the playstyle or why I enjoy this over Great One grinding. It's not saying I don't participate, obviously. I'm 4,000 plus kills in my mule deer grind, but I'm not obsessed with it. And I'm absolutely not judging those who are. Because it's pretty neat. Because it's someone obviously trying to get one. It's like, man, it's insane to see somebody's like, what's your mule deer rate? Mine's so far 1,000 or 4,000 plus to, you know, who knows what. Meanwhile, you know, Rix is banging out 1 in 20, 1 in 40, 1 in 50, great one fallow deer. And it's like, alright. Funny too, you can tell when he gets bored of it because he'll be like, here's great one, bear 189. You know, he's like, oh, he took a break from the from the fallow grind. To be honest, did not expect to hear that out here. I don't know. Medved is a banger, admittedly, but like I said, folks, I'm still feeling right to the coast, and I feel like I'm doing a whole lot of walking around, looking at bushes, and not shooting stuff. And obviously, it's part of the game. But I'm not feeling it tonight. I want to put the run and gun, you know, lock and load. Medved is not one of those maps. Oh, it is if you've got tent set up. That changes things, but the fact that I'm having to walk 7 miles just to get to the next lake, you know. It's one of those, if I wasn't registered by, like, you know, how long I'm streaming, I could spend a long time on that Medved and find something cool. But I also know while I'm streaming, we can find something cool going somewhere else, if that makes sense. Dipping out. And I know, and with Rev 2, I'm far more comfortable with it. I've got a hardcore, you know, checklist to go through on here. I could check my own map, but it's one of those things where it's like I kind of know what to expect on it. So it's not that it's boring. It's just like I don't have that excitement of like, ooh, what is around the corner? There's going to be a big herd of whitetail on my map, and they're all level 2s because I have been not wanting to shoot them because I'm going to eventually set up a whitetail grind on them. But on here, who knows? There could be some cool stuff. If somebody's playing it, I don't know what's going on. We're still searching for a game. It might actually be beneficial because we've been on multiplayer for so long to actually just restart the game, try again. We'll see here. Then again, I could season my map. I could spawn something. Could find something I didn't know was on my own map. I kind of want to play Rev that bad. I'm only go check out my own map. At least I've got tents there. If this doesn't work out. Because I love rabbit hunting in this game. And there's rabbits all over the place on Rev. I love trying to like look at all the ducks in the air, see if any of them are diamonds or rares. There's ducks everywhere. And then the big game. This isn't Rev. But we have another dude that knows ball. We are in ASCII Ridge. Tell you what, beggars can't be choosers. I will play an ASCII. I know I was just really stroking on Rev there, but this map has echoes of Rev. If I'm not locked into mule deer grinding, I mean, there's black grouse on here. There's ducks. Oh, it's like that, huh? Man, I was bragging on you. Come on, big money, big money. Come on, big money. I'm gonna just go to my map. We're just gonna do that. Oh, hang on. What are we gonna get? We're probably gonna get a Hirschfelden or a out trophy lodge. If you play an Xbox, you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, Mississippi. Okay. Oh man, do I? This is one of those maps that I like. I have a love-hate relationship. So we're gonna go to my rev. To be honest, you'd think as many times as I've done what I'm getting ready to do, I would have accomplished what I've tried to do. And I guess it's the definition of insanity. But at the same time, I've been like, I guess, passively grinding these things for a long time. And just, man, these rock ptarmigan and willow ptarmigan diamonds just evade me for some reason. Tell you what, I will go. Make sure stuff's where it needs to be. Still going to keep my loadout. Debating if I want to try to squeeze in something bigger than 30-06. Because outside of Moose, I the 257 can handle revving to the coast. Start early. I need to buy shotgun ammo. Debating if I want to use the 12 gauge scope or not. I need to change the reticle. I'm not sure I like that. When you're shooting ducks with it, it's not bad, but I also don't necessarily like shooting ducks with the scope. But if I'm gonna shoot raccoon dogs with it, I like having a scope. Actually, just because moose are moose, if I can carry the 357, we're gonna do it. I just thought of, I kind of want to try it. This could backfire because I actually hate the scope, but for what I'm using it for, it could work out. I'm going to try on the shotgun scope the crossbow reticle. Maybe, just maybe it might work. That's a lot of money to science there. Kraken, basically what I'm going to do is kind of wander my way through here, and Lord willing, we're going to run into some, basically everything. The only thing that's not down here is whitetail. There's a stupid tree there, man. Stop. I should tell you what. Ah, I hit the rock. That was sloppy. Raccoon dogs are fun because it's one of those species you gotta murder all of them if you want to get respawns. So it makes the fox great on grind for me fun because it's just like you don't gotta worry about like the hyper, getting in there and managing your herd. Just shoot them. Just shoot them. Thinking about it, the fox grind may be the one that I return to upon if and when we ever get this mule deer done and over with. Because I'm at 4,000 kills in at this point, and I've got, I honestly don't know how many diamond mule deer that I have at this point. It's a lot, and I almost want to just like, I don't know, so like you know what, and I will say Asky Ridge I think qualifies as kind of weird as far as mule deer go. I should have at this point probably, thinking about it, went to either Rancho or Silver Ridge, but I don't know. Kind of just want to start just shooting everything like I would fox. Not the females, but just don't worry about it. If it's got antlers, it's done. See what happens. I mean, like 4,000 kills in at this point. What is another 4,000 just doing that? At least it'd be fun, if that makes sense. I will say, admittedly, at first, and it's not saying I don't respect their decision. And I would say at the time I would have staunchly defended it. Hindsight, man, it was real nice being able to shoot, 300 red deer a day. In comparison to now, I'm lucky if I'm shooting 40 or 50 because everything's locked behind a timer. This little guy, if I want respawns, he needs to die. Yep, don't like this. And is it accurate at all? No, it's not. Gotta... it's probably a good thing I didn't hit that. Rock and roll with buckshot in this shotgun, I forgot. It's actually bright orange just to remind me that it's got buckshot and not birdshot. We still sent it. Oh, hands down, yeah. It's not a beginner map, I mean, there's some rough terrain on Rancho, and like, dude, you had an insane grind set up, and you actually like changed my mindset. Okay, bragging on, because there's a lot of folks in the community like behind the scenes, and yeah, I'd throw Grim in there because his grind setup on Rancho actually influenced my mule deer grind currently. Not the unsuccess part, obviously, but the like how like I set up for it, because ASCII Ridge in a way is kind of like Rancho, where good luck setting up a tripod. Good luck finding a place to put that tent. Now, if you walk 7 kilometers up this mountain and then walk another 7 kilometers down and set up 380 yards away, you can do it. If you put time in. That's the stuff that Grim was doing on Rancho. And it was like, oh, this is how you do it on these maps. Okay. Rancho for me is one of those. It's like if I have a top 5 list, Rancho's top 5 for sure. It's an excellent run and gun map. Oh, hello. That was a bad mistake for you, dude. Yeah, that dude didn't stand a chance. I mean, it is beautiful out here. He probably thought he was like in a Disney book or something, but he's not. I'd have been a little low. She's probably at 340, and I was aiming right at the bottom of that chest. I bet we just skimmed her. It's alright. It's one less Eurasian Lynx to worry about. And, you know, I was just thinking about in the way I just... Oh, hang on. Hang on. Well, for, passive grinding purposes, I'm not going to shoot that little tiny moose on my own map. I reread the comment about the red misting the rabbit, and it made me think of, like, way back in the day when I started out. Okay, hang on. Before I tell this story, I'm gonna grab a drink. But, admittedly, kind of behind the scenes, I guess, thing. I don't know. Who I am on the stream is who I am IRL, basically. But I do play into, like, kind of the hyper violence towards the animals in a weird way sometimes. And it's one of those things I've always debated if I should just go full send with it and just not care what people think, or just, like, I don't know. But it actually comes from an experience from my early days of streaming. Anyway, I need to get a drink. I'll be right back, folks. Okay, I'm back, folks. My apologies. Is there anything better than just, just water? You know, when you're thirsty, just cold ice water. Anyway, so the story. So way back in the day, I was honestly in my head back in those days. I thought I was going to be pretty much exclusively on Twitch, like, that was going to be it, kind of thing. And then one thing led to another. Anyway, back in the Twitch days, Well, that was right before I took, you know, I don't know, I probably took about a year off. And then at one point, I just stopped caring about Twitch rules and started doing stuff on YouTube. And like, I just like YouTube better. Long story short, back in those days, I was also, I don't know, I was going through a phase in the game where I was like obsessed with, I don't know, the photography side of the game. And I guess back in those days too, I was playing on PC more. Not that I still don't take a ton of screenshots, but anyway, one of those days, some person got in there and chat and, you know, talk back and forth, going totally normal. And I guess in hindsight, this person thought that this game wasn't what it was, right? Because, you know, I mean, imagine it looks like this. I'm walking through, you know, taking pictures of, you know, scenery and whatnot, and like, there's games like that on Steam. So it's not out of this world to think there's some game that's just like, oh, some hiking simulator, you know. Anyway, so we're talking about, you know, the game, but not as a hunting game, just like, you know, talking about what I was doing. And that kind of moment happened where here comes this rabbit. But instinctively, instead of like, you know, instead of taking a picture, I just murdered it, red misted it, and this person was traumatized, right? And I actually felt bad because there was like a genuine misunderstanding because it wasn't one of those like, I don't know. I just like felt bad that I was like, oh well, I didn't realize that was the thing. I was like, oh yeah, you weren't ready for that, were you? Kind of moments. Long story short, I tried to like soothe the moment over. I was like trying to explain away, but like all the animals in this game were actually truly evil, and they were like plotting to commit like genocide and all this stuff. And I made this lore behind all the animals where like there's a reason I have to shoot all the rabbits on sight every time I see one, for example. But like, I don't know, I've not leaned into that at all, and so they could probably, in perspective, looks weird on the outside. It's like, why are you obsessed with shooting rabbits? Like, I don't know, it's a weird thing that stems back from years ago. Now you guys know. Congrats. Actually, for perspective, how long ago that was, like, no joke, I think the only other map out at the time when I started was Virunga. Medved might have been out. So I was like almost like still exclusively on Leighton Lakes. Actually, no, that might have been. See, what came out first? Was it Virunga or Parquet? Ducks are actually one of those things I could totally like. Here's how weird I am. I would actually be more interested in setting up and like shooting ducks for like a super rare grind for ducks than I would a great one. In fact, I've got a grind set up kind of for that someday. Maybe, I don't know. It'd be cool. I'm probably gonna dirty grind these guys, but I'm gonna send it. Let's go ahead and zero for 150. There we go. That might be a little far out. 250. Yeah, we're missing that. And it's Grim Magnus again. Next great one? I don't know. You know, dude, and at this point, man, they're on a roll. And honestly, no pressure. I think they should set the expectation, be like, hey, here's the red plane. We're not gonna tell you what they are, but it's gonna happen. This is how it's gonna happen. They should just start rolling out every single species should have a great one. I really think so. Why not? Obviously fine tune it to that species, because I could imagine if grinding waterfowl was like it was, that'd be a nightmare. But, you know, it'd be cool. Because in my head, I thought it would be always awesome. Let's just say hypothetically you run a map where every single species could be a great one. You could do what I'm doing right now, and you're technically great when grinding. Anyway, as far as the next one, I couldn't tell you what the next one's going to be, but I could tell you what I'd like it to be. That is, of course, Rocky Mountain Elk. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that is the game plan, and maybe they're just not talking about it. I just think it'd be cool. No, it just would be cool, like... For me, what keeps me hooked and keeps me playing this game and want to come back to this game is the fact that there's so much to actually, like... And it's fun to do, and there's so much to, like... get after, you know? And it's not one of those games where it's like, you gotta do this many amount of missions, and then you go here, and then you'll get this thing. It's like, nope, you gotta go shoot stuff and find stuff, you know? And to be honest, because this game, like, because I really enjoy playing PUBG. And on console, this is one of those games, it doesn't have aim assist. And neither does PUBG, so, like, there's a little bit of a transfer in that, you know, as far as shooting goes. As I miss every shot. The guy's pretty far out. 240. Next to zero chance. If he straightens out, I could hit him, but he's pretty far. Oh, man. Okay, so... what's weird is I got to a point, and I don't, and again, I'm not saying this in a bragging way at all. I'm saying this in like a genuine, like, just there was a time, and it's been years since I've shot a 500 plus elk. But there was a time, and maybe the game was broken and I didn't know it or something. But there was a time, dude, where I've got a lot of 500 plus elk. I've got, I don't know, five or six, maybe more. But at the same time, I haven't seen a 500 plus elk in years. Hang on, folks. I'm adjusting something. Give me just one sec. It's tricky hitting stuff. Oh, are we that low on ammo? Oh, I've got the trunk. Okay, that's. I was like, what in the world? It's like, there's no way. Anyway, we're gonna pretend I'm just not missing everything in the world here. I need to find something slightly larger to shoot to increase the ego here just a bit. Oh, they're still out there. You just gotta find them, man. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it's been years, and I've been looking hard for them. In fact, like I've been getting really lucky finding Silver Ridge Peak multiplayers and nothing. I didn't even find Diamond. Oh, to be honest, but then again, man, they're out there. Impossible, and that's honestly that's what makes the game fun to me because it's like, oh, I know what could spawn next. If I shoot anything, I know what could possibly come, and it's just like that's kind of cool that there's a chance, small one, and that's what makes it fun because when you shoot enough stuff, well, that those chances start, those chances start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Boom! All of a sudden, oh, there's a rare, you know. Oh, I didn't buy burst shot. That's okay. We'll go to it somewhere. Y'all have a good night. Oh, just kidding. Okay. Let's just. They're in the trees, man. In the trees. That was embarrassing. Here's my thing, and I think they added a couple. I don't remember. I want more. I'm a weirdo. I want more red deer variants. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know why we only get 2. Let's get wild with it. That was, for me, my favorite grind, was the red deer grind. But if we just get all of them, and then we could just keep, you know... I don't know, I get it. I have an image that I pulled, but... back in the day, I was pretty upset whenever the Great One Moose came out, because I'm like, that's super unrealistic. But then, like, now I'm like, let's get wild with it. Where's the Wendigos at? If they were to make, if Call of the Wild were to make a map that was dedicated to be like one of the Hunter Classics Halloween events, for example, it would instantly become like, that's what people would play instead, probably. That's probably why they don't do it, thinking about it, but... Just imagine if there was, like, you know, werewolves coming at you, and everything was, like, zombified and looked weird. Not, like, super gory and, like, horrific in a way, like, it's super scary, but it's just, like, haunted, if that makes sense. At some point, everything wants to attack you. The rabbits are hyper violent. You gotta watch out for them. It's so much fun to play. And it'd be cool if there was a map like that in Call of the Wild where it's just like that, you know? Start combat. Use on my biting list. Oh, did I hit it? 375. Oh, I did hit it. Say 375 is usually capable of that. I don't think 30-6 could have done it. See the damage. Oh man, you know, and I get it. It'd be hard, or it's hard to do probably, but like, man. And I don't want to sound like I'm like simping for Call of the Wild and all that. I'm like, I honestly really do think it'd do them a lot of good. Like, it'd be insane. And honestly, I think the reason why it's not like that for Classic is, well, because it's so old, one. Two, it's kind of, I don't know, it's... If you're day one, just want to try it to play it and experience it, it's not going to happen, and that's kind of unfortunate, if that makes sense. Like, you gotta be able to have like what you need to participate in that. Well, if it was in the context of Call of the Wild, it'd be insane. But at the same time, and I don't know what their thoughts behind it would be, but I do understand they have this like image to uphold as this, you know, because this game, if you wanted it to be an authentic hunting simulator, you can make it that experience. It's just what you set your expectations to, if that makes sense. I will say, and I have absolutely deep dived into the middle of this, but like, it's just set your expectations to, if that makes sense. I think when they set out to make this hunting game, people, you know, inevitably like myself, you know, found the best way to quote unquote exploit it. You know, you're not supposed to be running around like I'm doing right now and I'm just smoking stuff, you know? Like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be sitting up in a ground blind somewhere, you know, calling this dude in, and it is a lot of fun when you play the game that way. And I think for them, they still want to hold on to that, like, hey, we're a hunting game, you know? Then again, so is, like, Hunting Classic is like way more of an actual hunting game, and it's just like, here's this moose that looks like it's a I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Alien robot thing. Werewolves. Literally, it's so fun because I love hunting rabbits in Call of the Wild, but in Classic, man, in that event, you don't want to see a rabbit because it's like they're fast, they're small, it's hard to shoot stuff even on mouse and keyboard because there's like a skill thing that you got to learn with your weapon, whatever you're using. When you don't have that, good luck hitting stuff. And well, they just one tap you, and you got to walk 7 miles again, which takes about 14 hours in that game. And it's worth it for that experience alone. But just imagine, there's like, you know, rabbits coming at you. And these guys, and here's what's weird, I can't find a thing on playing it anywhere. It's like they got rid of the game and wanted to pretend it never existed. Maybe you can still find it somewhere. I don't know. I know they're capable of it because they made a different game that wasn't Call of the Wild. Oh man, I forget what it's called. It's a dinosaur game. Um, it's kind of like an extraction shooter. Anyway, I thought it was a lot of fun because like when it clicked for me in a weird way, because it had nothing to do with Call of the Wild, like nothing. It was like far, far away from that, right? It was something like, oh, whoa, this is neat, you know? 'Cause, you know, you're murdering dinosaurs and they're trying to kill you, and you're extracting loot and defending yourself against hordes and hordes of all these things, and upgrading weapons, and honestly, it kind of reminded me of, like, imagine if it was Left 4 Dead, but a little bit more open worldy, but dinosaurs with machine guns and drills for hands. Anyway, I thought it was a banger, and I don't know. I don't know more. I can't find it to play it anymore. Meanwhile, there's this. They're focused on this. They had to get it out somehow, I think. I made a bad choice choosing this reticle. Real bad choice. Tell you what, we're gonna go ahead. Well, if this was IRL, or if this was, oh man, you know what? Another game I still kind of am. Like, I want to play it all the time. That Bolt Hunting Sim, man. Oh, it's so good. It's honestly it's weird to say, but I think it's perfect, man, when it comes to like what do I think? If I want like a real feel like authentic hunting game that's also like actually like fun to play, it's that, man. It's so good. But it's also Sim, so it's one of those games where this ain't happening. Except every like 45 minutes, you know? No, the Hunter Primal was a banger. I never got to play it. They did take that off and delist it, but this is a different. This is actually newer. It came out. It came out back in the Xbox. Let's say Xbox One days. Because this game be old. And that's not a diss. It's actually kind of a brag. And what is it called? I'm crashing into stuff. It's because I'm Googling and driving here, folks. Google's so stupid sometimes. Hey, there we go. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Sorry for the pause here. So this is okay. So I found the game. It's called Second Extinction. This is what it says, and I thought it was good. So they've got it rated at 3.5 out of 5, which whatever. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. It says Second Extinction is a cooperative first-person shooter where players fight mutated dinosaurs. The active development has ended, and the game was pulled from sale in 2023, with server scheduled shut down in 2024. It was designed for up to 3 players to team up as resistance fighters using unique weapons and abilities to reclaim Earth from prehistoric threat. So in a weird way, it's almost like like what I was just talking about, where I'm like sometimes like, oh, these rabbits gotta die. It's like it's almost like this weird lore and like where these things are like actually evil creatures. It's almost like they made that a reality in this game. Anyway, the thing is, I think they've developed it to be a live access style game, which is kind of unfortunate in hindsight. I really wish they would have kept it more of what it was. It's just be fun. Um, and here's what I think is commendable about Avalanche Studios and all those guys. they want to be so committed to us, the community, that they're not like doing the crazy stuff like Call of Duty and all those guys and everybody else does with DLC and all that stuff. Like, they give you bang for your buck, you know, and they're honest about it. It's not one of those, here's $23 for the shotgun skin on my shotgun right now. You know what I mean? But they want to make money, and they don't exploit us to do that. They're like, let's just keep making different games to try to get, you know, some money going. Let's make Call of the Wild, but it's a fishing game. Let's make crazy shooting. Now, I don't understand pulling it, but the fact that they were going to be live streaming, it actually cost some money, so I get it. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. Which makes me, I know they're capable of doing like that kind of stuff, you know. So it's like, dude, if they could do that with Call, I know they could do it. Yes, Grim. Yes. Not paying attention to the chat. I was looking at the googs. I don't know, too, and here's the thing too, like, and I guess this is what I was trying to like articulate earlier when I was talking about like the OG thing. Like, there's also like a different mindset back in that time frame when it was came to games. I think I don't know. There's like a different play style now, or you know, like a different way games are. It's hard to explain. And this just ain't one of those games, you know? Oh, come on. And, you know, that being said, I think that was like an era too where I don't know, where kind of gaming went. That's why I try to be real about it, because like I love this game, but I'm not gonna hide when it's ugly. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, I'm not gonna try to influence anybody about it. And I honestly think it's low-key ruined gaming. That's a conversation for a different time. But this is just one of those games that stuck it out, you know? And I don't think that would change anything if they were to make one of those maps, because in a weird way, it's part of the lore, because, well, it's kind of sort of connected to Call of the Hunter Classic. It's not the same team, per se, but it's the same, you know, world. It'd just be neat. They should do it. Shout out JBiz, steal my idea. Tell Jaxie. He'll agree. That'd almost be, if it was just permanent like that, though, it would almost be like it's a different game. And I could see why they wouldn't want to do that. But then again, you can integrate the trophies and just kind of have the same kind of style system. Actually, probably be harder to find trophy variants because you couldn't actually grind them. You'd have to kill all of them because they're trying to kill you. So it'd be like Sunder Baton. It'd be like everything was tigers, though. But better. Oh, I think I actually shot that thing in the air. We might get a gold out of this. It's trying to blow its little head off. I would say too. I don't know. I guess it's sort of part of the vibe now, but I wish like not for it to be more graphic per se, but I'm thinking of Bolt Hunting Simulator. Like when you shoot stuff in that game, it's very realistic. Both like just the act, just when you've done it IRL, it's like, oh. Now, I've personally never shot a duck, but I have shot a lot of doves, and I don't know. I'm assuming it's similar to that. Anyway, like that moment in the just doing it IRL, like and like, here's the raw reality. Yeah, I understand. I think this is like kind of a handshake and a subtle nod to like introduction to hunting for people, which I highly respect for Call of the Wild. It was definitely loud for me. Jeez, Lou. Here's the raw reality. You know, when you hunting with birdshot. You ever seen what birdshot does? We'll put it that way. It's like, how do I say this and not sound graphic? And it's not like that every time, but there's those times where you're like, oh yeah, this is meant to do what that looks like. You know what I mean? And in a weed rate, it's a good way to teach you, I think, out of the field, that there are consequences to taking shots that you shouldn't. Think of it kind of like Saving Private Ryan is to anti-war kind of thing. we go. Female mountain hare actually have a higher chance of making diamond than males do. Hopefully it's not just some measly level 1. Truth be told, folks, I've been too busy blabbing my mouth instead of actively focusing on what I'm running around on here. Apologies. It's looking like we're going to the 2026 launch empty-handed tonight, but it's been fun, man. I know that rabbit was over here. I really want to get my pointer returning up to where I can get it to retrieve. That way I can kind of have it looking for this thing while also simultaneously if I can shoot it, retrieve it. Then again, it is nice when I wound it. Wound stuff and lucky can find it. Especially when the game gets weird and you're on multiplayer and like the tracks disappear. That's nice. I'm gonna try to get that rabbit to thump again. Not gonna do it. Further they get from 100 meters, the harder that gets. I'm not trying to cope for a skill issue, I'm just saying. It's actually a rather large golden eye. Too bad he's flying at Mach 7 behind the trees at 700 yards. Not really, but you know, you get the drift. Is my rev dead? It's 10 o'clock. Let's head up north. I will say just the if you had to pin me down and ask me what it was about Call of the Wild though, like I don't know, man. It's it. Whatever a hunting game could have, and like that doesn't mean there can't be improvements. Whatever it is Caldwell's got, it's got it, man. Because Wave the Hunter is excellent. But I gotta be in a mood to play it, and I've not been in the mood. You know what I mean? And honestly, for a long time, that not that it was direct competition, but that's the only like alternative. From Call of the Wild. But now I would actually say that the hunting game market, or I don't know, that type of game, you know, it, especially on the PC side of things, it's thriving. And there's a lot of really good games out there. But Call of the Wild still got it. And this game's coming up on a decade old. Hunter Classic's even older. And it's a banger in its own right. I honestly think the reason I don't like Wade the Hunter as much as I do is because of Hunter Classic. That's more of a competitor, and it's a beautiful game to look at. Doesn't hold a flame to Classic. I will say the herd management aspect is amazing, and there's got to be some nerd out there that's got it just squared away, and it's insane, but there's just something about a game where it's just like, you know, it's hard to do in a way that's like quasi-realistic, you know? But it's also, it is gamified because obviously you're not running into animals as much as you would be in the game. You know, you're not sitting out there and shooting 15 deer from your tree stand in 3 hours. But in that game, if you know, grind through and get the right stuff, you can do her. It's a lot of fun. And it's 15 years old. Deer hunting camp is in one way super janky and clunky in comparison to a game like Call of the Wild. It's like, I would almost say, and this is kind of harsh, but in some aspects it's like Roblox version of Call of the Wild. But on the other hand, it's the most realistic game, like hunting game I've ever played. And it's so cool, but at the same time, it's like, nope, Call of the Wild, man, it's where it's at. Like, there's some, I've seen nothing tonight, and in some ways, it's more fun than seeing something in that. But at the same time, it's insane when you're playing one of those games where, what I like about Hunter Classic is when it comes to trophies, it doesn't have a locked-in system necessarily. It can max out, obviously. Kind of sort of like this. There's no real like high end, but there's no like bronze There's no golds. There's no diamonds. There are no great ones. There's non-typicals. There's rares. But it's one of those games, every time you spawn in, it's different. There's no managing anything. And because you've got to, utilize camouflage, you can't spook anything, call them to you. And whatever the biggest thing that you see is, who knows, that might be the biggest thing you see for a long time. And there's the cool aspect to that. Because I'll admit, folks, when I see a giant max weight whitetail, I don't get excited at all. It's another day in the office. But when I see a big whitetail in that game, it's exciting. It's probably ran down here to spook everything at this lake. I don't know why I took that shot as a bad angle anyway. I'm just off tonight, I guess. It is hard to shake when you're like methodically shooting just mule deer after mule deer after mule deer after mule deer. Now we're back out. I'm shooting stuff that's running. Like, lean forward kind of thing. I thought, here I am, 257 can handle everything. The only thing it can't handle is range. And on Rev, you can reach out there and touch stuff. I'm just gonna. You're bigger. Do we risk? The accuracy issues tonight? Do we risk a next shot, or do I 22 this guy to make him turn around? Why not? Okay, you know what? That's why. That's why we shouldn't. I honestly think that's the coolest reload in the game. Low-key grind. Whitetail. I actually have this, all these tents set up for a moose grind. Oh. There goes that zone. Set the controller down on my lap for half a second. Indeed, I'm glad nobody was in the tent with me. Would have sent him to the wheelchair. I'm so burnt out on the mule deer grind. Like the idea of like actually like setting up on whitetail seems daunting. Because again, this isn't a whitetail grind setup. This is strictly for moose. These guys just happen to be here, and I don't want to like without setting up for a grind. I don't want to go start shooting a whole bunch of whitetail because I want to like make sure I'm shooting what I need to shoot. I mean, I've obviously discovered a lot of my need zones on here, but I've never sat down and dedicated ever since restarting my Reventuli Coast, like whitetail. So there is a prospect where it's like, ooh, interesting. Because like I've also thought in my head where everybody's like, I feel like everybody's got their great one that they grind, and honestly, I want deep down, I want mine to be whitetail because it's still the rarest great one that you could get in some sense. Or the rarest animal. Yeah, in a weird way, I've got a legacy to uphold. I did that. My very first great one was at the time the rarest great one, and honestly, in some I guess in some ways it still might be up there. I'd have to look into like with everything, all the new ones. But that, and at the time, great one grinding was so new that I didn't realize I understand how rare it was. But it's the typical small rack. But it'd be wild to shoot a typical small rack piebald. You know what I've never seen anyone shoot? A piebald whitetail great one. Not even Rick's. Dude, the auto... I like the Elite controller, but like the auto walk button that I got going on ain't going on, and it's frustrating me, and it's getting worse over time. Just falling apart over here. I wish spirit bears were rare. I love spirit bears. I'm also kind of a rebel. Deep down, I also don't want a great one. I want a super rare raccoon. Super rares are actually the ultimate because at the end of the day, great ones are RNG. But you can certainly, try to tip the scale, if that makes sense. You can certainly, like, hone it down to where you're just, you know, dime after dime after dime after dime. But when it comes to those super rares, like, good luck. They have a name for a reason. But that's another aspect that makes this game fun, because while you can't really average it out, if if you were to say what's the average red deer, you know, super rare, it's probably 60,000, maybe 70,000, maybe more. So if you could average out great ones, for example, I don't know, average, I would say 1,000 to 3,000. Talking about kills. Or you could shoot one and then it's there. You never know. And honestly, that goes for every species. I don't want to full-scale condone this because it could potentially break your game. So disclaimer, if you do this and you break your game, I didn't. It's not my bad. But outside of Great One grinding, and for species that have great ones, I would just say never do this. But for species that don't have great ones, I honestly think, and I've been kind of scared to try it, but I want to try it for science purposes. I think dirty grinding is better when in terms of if you want diamonds and if you want rares. What are you doing? Trying to manage them. Shoot everything. Don't pick it up. I shot probably in my red deer grind, and that was back in the day when I didn't realize dirty grinding, because that was kind of like a new thing. Like, oh, you can just not pick them up. And it's like, oh, well, duh. We didn't realize you weren't spawning great ones. And I did that for probably 60 to 70,000 kills worth of red deer. Now, in this day and age, great one grinding, that would take 50 years. At least for me. But that was when, you could just spawn in, shoot them all, go to the main menu, spawn back in, shoot them all, go back to the main menu, shoot them all, you know? I could literally, like, if it was back there, I could have shot 300 mule deer, you know? No joke. If you have a super rare, be proud of it. And if you don't, keep your eyes peeled. You never know. Super rare was actually shot doing exactly what we're doing now on this map. Walking around, and it was a leucistic Western Capercaillie, level 3. Came out of nowhere, man. Well, I wasn't really gonna. I was actually setting up for my whitetail grind. And it was a hunt like that that just, like, it kind of hooks you to the game where you're like, man, that could happen again with anything, you know? It's like, oh, there's, like, how cool it'd be, like, oh, there's a level 3 whitetail piebald. And the kicker is, you can't do it necessarily by, like, grinding necessarily. You have to shoot. It doesn't help. It doesn't matter. Statistically, like, it's just as good as you, what I'm doing here. Try to hopefully they just, you know, you're relying on luck, basically. Numbers start to add up when you're like Rick's, and those numbers are insane. You tend to shoot some supers. How I ended up on the backside of this lake. Tell you what, folks, we're not finding nothing. I think, unfortunately, this is another, honestly, aspect that makes Colorado great. Unfortunately, as you guys saw, we tried, we came, we saw, we got conquered, got our butts kicked, didn't find squat. But it was a lot of fun. Shot some stuff. Really, multiplayer was kind of cruddy. Couldn't really find a map. The ones that I did, I don't know. I wanted to be here on Rev. But hey, that's called the wild for you. I mean, you win some, you lose some, and we've had really blessed lately with the trophies we've been finding because they've been bangers. Oh, there's that spear. I might pop it just to say we shot something there. 375 spear. Maybe not at that angle. Tried to Texas heart shot it. Come on, come on, come on. 0300. Ah, nah. Alright, yep, we out. We out. We out. I was really hopeful that there would just be like a dime whitetail hanging out right there last minute. Because that's happened quite a bit. Last 5 minutes of the stream were actually like, okay. You never know, because that's happened a lot. That being said, though, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. I really appreciate everybody stopping by. Next time we're back, I think we're going to go ahead and spend some time doing some mule deer grinding. And I've said it a few times over the course of the 4,000 plus kill grind, where, you know, like, I don't know, maybe this is it. I, I don't know. I feel like I'm onto something with the grind. Coming back to it with a more fresh mindset, I guess. I don't know. I've got some fives on the map. My exterior zones are getting smaller. I'm hoping this guy spawns sooner rather than later. But that long story long. Gonna be grinding some mule deer next time you see me, guys. Appreciate everybody stopping by. See you guys in the next one.